Alright, so what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper, and welcome back everybody to a brand new video. In this one, what we're going to be going over is the 10 most useful items in PUBG. These are things that are going to give you the most practical advantage and things that you should really try to find in your games every single time, regardless of your playstyle or what you're playing. This should help you focus on what things you really need to prioritize, taking the best items that are going to be of the most use to you game to game. And of course, before we get into this list, if you guys could support the channel in the video and leave a like on this one, we're going to aim for 4,000. You've been crushing it on every video, like it's insane, and we're gonna try to keep it up on this video as well. And also make sure that you are subscribed if you're brand new to the channel so you don't miss another video or live stream that I do. And also, if you're wanting to support the streams, make sure you go follow me on Twitch as well. The link will be down below in the description. I'm gonna be using it a lot more in the next coming weeks, so that should be a lot of fun. And with that stuff being said and out of the way, the list that we're going to be talking about in this video of the 10 most useful items is going to be a list by me, but I want to get you guys a little bit more involved for the next episode where I'm going to do the 10 most useless items, so the complete opposite. And I want you guys to let me know in the comment section, what is the #1 most useless item in PUBG in your opinion, and I'll be kind of taking your guys' reactions and putting them in the next video. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. So coming in at the number 10 spot on this list today has got to be the red dot sight. Now, aside from this being my favorite just overall sight on a lot of my favorite assault rifles for up close, even on something like a bolt action sniper rifle, and if you don't have another scope or a DMR, if you put a red on it, it's at least better than the iron sights and you can still do work with it. What I love about it so much is that it's a flexible sight for almost any weapon type. Like, you can't go wrong with it. If you want to put it on a sniper rifle, like I said, be my guest. It's not something that I would ever do if given the chance to have a scope, but every once in a while, like, you'll find a Kar 98 and you just have nothing else available, you gotta throw red on it for the time being. That might be enough to get you the kill that you need and get an actual real scope for it, but it works great on every assault rifle, SMGs, even pistols. I think it's the best standard sight in the game so far. So coming in at the number 9 spot is the 6x scope, for similar reasons to the red dot, but not quite exactly. What I really like about the 6x is that it's the highest magnification that you can physically go, while you can still put it on all of the weapons, right? Like, obviously you cannot put an 8x anymore on the ARs, or it's strictly to DMRs and snipers at this point. But if you still want that decent magnification of the 6x and you want to put it on an M16 or a Scar L, the 6x allows you to do that, and it does it great. The way I see it is that the 8x scope is the designated sniper rifle one, right? It belongs on that. But the 6x is this really nice cross between being a DMR scope and a sniper scope, and you can use them on either, or you can pick and choose. And to be honest, as far as like practical use, I don't really think there's a huge difference between the 8 and 6x. You almost get the same magnification, and it's unlikely you're going to be fighting enemies from farther away that, you know, you can't see with an 8x scope. That's why I always recommend you take a 6x, because it's very, very versatile and is flexible to whatever your playstyle is. The item taking the number 8 spot is one that I was kind of debating whether I should put on this list or not, but I decided to do it anyways because I was testing out this and I realized that it's actually quite useful against certain players. This is going to be the ghillie suit. Now, the reason why I've been sort of playing around with this more is because I wanted to see how effective it is against different kinds of players. You know, more experienced ones that have been playing the game for a while and kind of understand the game. They know what they're looking for. The ghillie suit isn't really going to do anything against them because they like I said, they know what to spot and they know what they see. But it's like the perfect noob camouflage. If somebody's newer to the game, or you have players who are relatively inexperienced, the ghillie suit is like, you're pretty much invisible to them if you do it right, and it's insane. While of course this is airdrops only, so it's pretty rare to get, I still think it's very useful if you're able to obtain one for yourself, and especially against newer players, you will be surprised about how many miss you. I recommend go and try it for yourself, and don't take my word for it. Go into a game and test this out. Now, taking the number 7 spot has to be the smoke grenades. Now, the thing about this is that it's really only useful in squad games, right? In solos, the only thing that this is effective for is being able to like kind of build a wall or block somebody's temporary sight so that you can move to a different position and get around them. That's what it's good for in solos, but as far as squads go, this is where you're going to see its most effectiveness. If you have a teammate down in the middle of an open field, you're being suppressed by a squad that's far away, you know, there's multiple targets. The only thing you can do, the only chance you have to revive that teammate is just throw a smoke on him, go in there and revive him. Normally when you do that, they don't know where to shoot and you're able to get that 10 seconds off to get the res. My recommendation would be that in solos, no more than 2 smoke grenades is ever really necessary, but if you're playing a 4-man squad, maybe even 3 to 4 might be useful, depending on how many times you're going to need to res your teammates, but I would just sort of play that by ear, but that's what I'd recommend to you. Now, coming in at the number 6 spot today is level 3 helmets. Now, the reason why this is coming in at number 6 is because they've become a lot more valuable valuable very recently as the game has went on, because obviously, you know, they're not in drops anymore. We all know that, but they've become, like, as far as the meta, level 3 helmets are very game changing. Not just the fact that you can survive, you know, probably another headshot depending on the weapon, but also you have an intimidation factor where players won't shoot at you just because you have a level 3 helmet, and they'll wait to either reposition or something like that. I'm not even gonna lie, it makes people more cautious to engage you, which can be good. It can save your life, maybe if your health isn't super high or you need to reposition somewhere. Having a level 3 helmet, and if somebody visually sees that, might like kind of avoid them taking shots at you, which is nice. And I recommend that you always try to get a level 3 helmet, not just for its actual, you know, practical defense, but also just this intimidation factor that I'm talking about. Not to mention, when you see someone with a level 3 helmet as well, it's very likely that they have a drop weapon on them. Either they looted it themselves or they took the guy who did loot the drop. So no matter what, if you got a level 3 helmet, they probably have a beast gun as well. Coming in at the number 5 spot is the extended quick draw mag for all of the weapons. This isn't just for the assault rifles or anything, but this goes for all the weapon types. Now, I get a lot of questions about this. They're like, Chop, what should I take, the quick draw mag or the extended? You know, what's better? Obviously, you want the extended quick draw because you get the best of both worlds right there. But as far as like the other two mags go, I always recommend the extended, because when you're just engaging in a one-on-one fight, it's just better to have more rounds in your magazine than it is to be able to reload quicker with less rounds, right? If you're playing squads, the quick draw mag actually isn't that bad, but if you have both of them, you have the extra bullets as well as the quicker reload, that's going to be the one that you want to go for. It just makes some of the weapons marginally better, right? Maybe you just get like 5 extra rounds in the magazine. It's like whatever, but it makes some guns go from like average to almost god tier, i.e. the Vector. If you're running this without the extended, you only have 13, but if you have the extended, you have 25, which on a gun like the Vector is insane, and it's going to be something you want to go for every single time. I don't recommend that you play without it. Now, coming in at the number 4 spot is my favorite muzzle attachment. This is known as the compensator, and of course this goes for all weapon types as well. Now, I get a lot of questions about what the compensator actually does, and the easy way to explain is that it's just going to overall reduce your recoil, but I think you guys know that, but you want to know the actual specifics. What the compensator is going to do is give you a 25% reduction in your recoil pattern, so it's just more or less straight up the entire time. You're also going to get 10% less horizontal recoil, 15% less vertical recoil, and also a 10% less spread base. It makes things like the AKM and the M16 to spray really easy. The M16 in burst mode, if you have a compensator, is actually a viable option, and a lot of people also complain about being able to control the AKM spray. They have a hard time with it, but with a compensator, this is going to make it much easier on you. I believe it's the most useful muzzle attachment ever in the game. The only thing that's slightly behind it is the suppressor, which obviously has its own advantages and disadvantages, but I think the compensator is great on every single weapon. Now, taking our number 3 spot today is a healing item, in fact, and this is going to be the first aid kit. I carry so many of these, namely because they're, number one, very easy to find, and basically the replacement for bandages at this point. Normally, if I have any more than 5 first aids, you'll probably catch me with 0 bandages, just because the first aid is something that only takes a few more seconds than a bandage to use, but you're guaranteed 75 health no matter where you are, and it doesn't residually climb up over time like the bandage, but you instantly get that health, which is super nice. The thing is, if they were less common, this might, you know, change my opinion a bit, but they're just as easy, if not easier, to find than bandages, sort of. Also, another pro tip is that if you're gonna have anything on a hotkey, first aids is probably one of the most important things. Like, there's a few hotkeys that I'm always gonna recommend to you, but having one for first aid or even your boost are probably the most important ones that you can have set. I think mine, I have my back mouse button for my first aids, and then the front mouse button is gonna be for boosters. So they're really easy to call on exactly when I need them. Taking the number 2 spot is another healing item, but a little bit of a different one. This is the adrenaline syringe, the best boost item in the game. It beats the painkiller and energy drink in all categories. It takes just as long to pop as a painkiller, but you get a full boost meter. And even if you're below half health, you can still hit an adrenaline, and obviously it's going to take a little bit of time, but you can still end up getting back to 100 health in not too long at all. Only downside is they're relatively rare to find, and they do not stack in your inventory, so they are going to take up a lot of space, but they're useful to have, maybe at least 1 or 2 on your person. But now, ladies and gentlemen, finally coming in at the number 1 spot of the most useful item in PUBG. I didn't forget about this one. I think a lot of you were expecting me to put this, is none other than the frying pan. Man, this had to be on this list at the best spot because it has so many practical functions. Number 1, obviously it's most infamous for, is blocking bullets on your back, right? That's pretty much just what it does in the game. But little do people know, you can also hold it in your hand and swing it if you're being shot at by like a DMR, and there's a a good chance that you can block a bullet that's maybe heading towards your face or chest neck area. And lads, I'm not even gonna lie, this is kind of easy to do. It works best against DMRs and single tap weapons. Assault rifles, you can't really block as many, but if you're swinging it in front of your face, if you have no other choice but to run and swing the pan, go for it. There's a good chance you're gonna stop at least one or two, and that could be enough to get you to the position and save your life. And of course, let's not forget its most basic function. You can just use it to smack people if you just landed, and that's, you know, the only weapon around. All you need to do is hit somebody twice with it, or maybe once in the head, and they're gone. But the pan had to take the #1 spot because there's just so many things that it can do. It's very versatile for just being a piece of round metal that you don't really consider in PUBG, but it's always nice to have one on your person. And even if you really feel like you're not going to use it or need it, have it on your back, because there's no reason why not to. But anyways, guys, that is going to be the video for today, the 10 most useful items in PUBG. I really hope this did help, and I hope you learned something from it. Like I said, I'm going to do the 10 most useless items here really soon, so be on the lookout for that video. And let me know in the comment section which item you think that would be. And also, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. Drop a like on the video if you'd enjoyed this one. And go follow my Twitch channel, links in the description. And I will see you all on the next live stream or the next video. Take it easy, guys, and peace out.